Welcome to Fuel Your Drive. Welcome to Fuel Your Drive. I am your host, Josh York. And guys, this is actually the first time I've been doing this in a while, but you have asked, so obviously I like to listen. But before I even get into that, let's do a quick housekeeping items. As you know, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. It means the world to me. As you know, I want to continue to keep growing this podcast. But you guys have asked me, you want more guests on the show. Well, this is a very special episode because we got a very great guest on this show. He's also really handsome and bald like myself, so that's a really good thing. But we're going to get into business. We're going to talk strategy. He is the president and CEO of an incredible company called Starkey, and this company is a provider of hearing technologies. And I'm really excited to dig into this because this company has more than 5,000 employees, operates 29 facilities, and over 100 markets worldwide. So we want to touch on scale. We want to understand how it's managed, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. So, Brandon, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you here, and I want to get into it. So let's get right into the show here. Tell us about Starkey. Tell us all about it. Tell us how you got into it, and we'll kind of dive in more from there.
Well, thanks, Josh. And yes, we're in a great business because we make hearing aids cool. It's a product that you think of a hearing aid nobody wants, but we're doing some really great things as we're future-proofing, what this product is and can be, and we'll talk more about that. But I got in it. I started working at Starkey 1994, June of 94, so almost 31 years ago. And it was a summer job, and I was going to go to my second year of college, and I enjoyed it because I started, my summer job was repairing and sorting out old, smelly, waxy hearing aids from the returns that, people donated and stuff. And, then I started doing a little, willing to help in other areas. And I liked the responsibility and I liked the people. And so I go, well, I'll maybe start college in January of 95. Well, almost 31 skip years later, I've done almost everything in the company, working my way up with no intention of being president and CEO. I mean, I was going to be an astronaut, then I love sports, and I go down the list, right? The astronaut when I was 10 and didn't know you had to be really, really good at math. But you never finding your purpose and what you want to do. There's so much pressure on kids now because I talk to my own. You got to give it time because no way did I think I'd be sitting here.
No, I think this is really going to be, there's a lot of value here because so a lot of people, I tell people this all the time within my organization. And I say, you have entrepreneurs and you have intrapreneurs, and people don't realize that, if you're behind in a great company, you really can have opportunity to be very, very successful if you put the work in, if you treat it like it's yours and you believe that and you do that day in and day out. So what was the company like? Where was it like as far as like people-wise? How many people when you started? And what was that journey? And how did that even happen where you became CEO?
When I started, Starkey, it was definitely different times, different type of products, technology, of course. You're talking, throwing ballparking, 300 to 400 million. And then, the technology was before digital technology. And, I got into sales was really my next, because what I liked, my first year or two allowed me to be kind of the utility player. I got to move around and experience different parts of the company. And if we were short one day or if there's a snowstorm, I would work the switchboard and answering calls, and we still answer every call here with a live voice because, you're in the people business. And that's a hard job because you think it's easy and it's not. And then I help with shipping, or I would help in other areas, but then I got into sales. And that's really where, for me, not selling, you're asking questions, building a relationship, because we work through distributors still today, hearing healthcare professionals. So, working and developing those relationships back then, because even when I was in sales, we would do classes and I'd pick people up at the airport, take them to the Mall of America, here in Minneapolis, all sorts of things. And a lot of those relationships, because of trust, integrity, carried forward my sales career and into really, I still have a lot of strong relationships today in the industry.
That's great. But so like, did you know the executive team? Like, were you like close to them? Were they like I want people to really understand, because someone might be listening to this saying, wow, that's really great. Well, he probably got lucky, or maybe he was good at sales. Like, how did you actually get into the position though? Like, what was that like? Did you have a connection? Was it a good sales call that kind of led that opportunity? You know?
No, I had a connection. I mean, my stepfather, started the company,
Got it.
and my parents, or my grandmother actually started in the hearing aid business, started her own office in 1959. Um,
Wow.
she was recently divorced, had three kids, one being my mother, and a female business entrepreneur. Getting into business back then was not easy. But when I was a kid growing up, I remember spending time with her in her practice and with the patients, and then my parents got into it in the 80s, and then got divorced, and then my mother got started dating and then married my stepdad, and he started the company back in 1967. And one of those American success stories, basement of his home. And it was not about building a big company. He was selling hearing aids here in Minnesota and wasn't getting the service he needed from the companies he was buying from. So he started a repair lab. So he started repairing his own hearing aids for his own patients. And then it just grew and grew and grew out of service. And so, yes, I had an in, but again, I didn't want to, it was a summer job sales. And I was thinking all that time, probably the first 10 years or so, what do I want to do? Is this it, or is it, getting into something else? Because this, in my mind, was a bridge. It was a start. And there was a lot of people. Yes, I had, of course, with my stepfather, but it was no free pass. It was an opportunity. And that's what whether it's my kids or others, is, if a door of opportunity opens, you walk through it, but you own it. Whatever you make of it, you make of it. So, I've had a lot of relationships with the people here. And what I've learned through that 30 years is, whether, I'm in sales or then eventually running sales or my job today, I work for the people of Starkey. It's really, that's my mindset, is I'm a team player, and that service attitude. And so, yeah, it's who just like anybody, but doesn't mean you get the job, because the employees will tell you if you're doing a good job or not.
100%. Yeah. But also, just based on some of the things you were saying, it sounds like you were always willing to step in, step up, do what you had to do, and make things work. Like, not everyone's going to, take people to the mall, or not everyone's going to say,
No,
oh, I'll take, people need to understand that, like, okay, yeah, all right, so maybe you had an in, but that really doesn't mean a lot, because I know tons of people who have ins that never get to every,
it's
really be successful. And it says a lot about the company, because 1967, and you made a comment about something that really sticks with me, because I still do something to this day that people will tell me I'm crazy, but I still handwrite thank you cards to new clients to this day.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
I want people to understand, you said that you still have live people that answer the phone.
yes,
Okay. Now, if you just so you guys are listening, understand this. Okay. The company could probably save a lot of money if they maybe outsource it, maybe automate it, get to one of those, what, guys, when you make a phone call and you have 700 prompts to press one and press two, and how annoying that is.
yes,
I would pretty much guarantee to say that a lot of the success is because you're sticking to some of the basics that are most important, because in business, as you said, which is true, relationships are everything. And to this day, I still handwrite thank you cards to every new client that comes on. Is it annoying? It is. It's a pain. All right. It's not like we have 5 clients anymore. We have hundreds of thousands now. It's a lot. It is a lot. They're handwritten, every single card. So let's talk a little bit about that, because being in business for that long says something about the company, just from a customer, service perspective.
yes. No, it's a good thing. And it's nice to hear you say that too, because even in my role today, Christmas cards, thank you cards, holiday cards, I hand sign them. I don't like a auto pen, or, it's signing with a digital signature. Every time I can, I want to personalize and humanize. We have eight live operators. You're right. I've had a lot of consultants and people say, "Oh, we could save so much money if we did this." It's not about that. It's, we're in a special business where it is about people. So you want that human touch, and that means something. And people want to do business with people they know and trust. And
100%.
our culture is really drives what we do. And what I've learned over my 30 years, and what started when I became president in 2017 and then CEO is really it's you want to hire for attitude and develop the talent, because you cannot develop the attitude. You got to have people that want to be on a team, not trying to climb the ladder.
I don't know if you've been like hanging around with me, but I always say you can never, ever, ever train an attitude. You can always train skill.
Oh, there you go. No, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
100%. You have
Takes
to
one person to throw everything off. And
100%.
for me, I got zero
now-
tolerance for that.
Oh, of course, and I'm sure you have tons of stories. I'd probably be sitting here for years talking about stories, but I always like to dig into like just a really painful moment in business, because I try to explain to people all the time. I repeat this almost every single time I'm talking about something with business. There is a price to pay, and most people don't realize how close they are to actually achieving something great, but they quit the day before, and the next day could have changed everything. So let's talk through maybe some stories or something in particular that stands out to you that was just a crazy story. You thought the world was literally coming to an end, and I'm sure you'll agree it always works out, right? If you're positive, you're optimistic, and there's solutions to all problems. But maybe share a good story of something that happened that caused some pain.
Well, everybody could go to COVID, how it affected them. You know, I get a lot of questions on, what's a great memory that you have or a moment in your career at Starkey? And I bring this up because it's not what you would think, because you could always, yes, there's successes, we both have successes, but it was the day in our industry, since we deal directly with healthcare providers, when businesses started shutting down. And I had to, uh, stop, 203, close to 300 million in expenses in 2 weeks, right? I mean, just to slow the machine. And there's no playbook for that. We've heard that. And so, we had to, like others, furloughs and all that. But the moment that day that, I was watching employees carry boxes out of here and thanking me, because we're completely transparent, what's going on, what we have to do. Here's the plan. That's a moment I don't forget, because it motivates me. It drives me to grow, to win, to do better. Because again, going back to the people, and I from that day gave me that motivation where not only leading Starkey but guiding our industry. I was working on chairman of Hearing Industry Association, which is for us all the other companies that are in our business, but guiding through and communicating with the professionals, the calm, but helping them get through it as well. And so your priorities become really clear in moments like that. And then also, I work a lot in DC and just educating, because we had an over-the-counter bill for hearing aids that was coming out 2015, 16, 17, 18, and it went on until I think 21, 22, and educating on what hearing aids are, because people don't know. There's a misconception, and driving that and leading that into making sure that what was being done right was best for the patient.
Right. That's fantastic. Well, speaking of COVID and speaking about challenges, talk to, I already know this answer because I already can tell, but talk to me a little bit about leadership and how you kind of look at leadership and what do good leaders look like in your eyes, and how do you develop good leaders, and what's your eye for talent? Like when you're around someone, like let's just say, talk like an undercover boss scenario. Let's just say you're listening into a team member and you're like, man, this person's a rock star. We got to do something with this person. Like what does that all look like?
Well, when I do interviews, even today, if I'm interviewing somebody joining the team, one of the first questions I ask them is how you define leadership, because I think everybody has their own definition, right? What guides them. You have to lead yourself before you can lead others. Mine is, I'm not going to ask anybody to do what I wouldn't, do. Lead from the front, that mindset. And I think that kind of ties back to, how when I started the company, But when I'm talking to people, or you're undercover boss scenario,
Mm.
is I'm watching for the proactive, caring attitude. It's the attitude. I don't need a MVP if we're losing. I mean,
Yeah.
how many MVPs come from a losing team? You want a winning team, and
Yep.
who's going to have that attitude, that talent? Somebody that's going to be proactive, think ahead, but also not afraid to jump in the ditch and get their hands dirty when the time comes. Titles are titles. Like I said, yes, CEO. And I talk about this at my quarterly state of Starkey's and town halls and meetings I do is CEO is a title, but I work for the people. I'll still do airport runs. I'll still, if whatever is needed at the time, yes, I have my day job, but I'm not afraid to jump in the ditch, roll up my sleeves and work with the team. And I think it's that mindset. You want to win as a team, and you can't do it individually in some companies.
100%. 100%. So what does your day-to-day look like?
Well, my day to day right now is, it's really focusing on, again, priorities that are going to move us forward. Back in 2017, I wanted to, really take a, I'll say take a swing for the fences. And, in our business, there's 5 hearing technology companies that make up, really the world's hearing aids. And Starkey's the only U.S. Company based and operated. And we worked in incremental improvements, right? It is about sound, but I wanted to be, kind of that looking ahead of redefining a product. What can it be? And what's that moonshot, right? So, visionary, yes, because I do like to think ahead. So my day is always looking up and out, but also talking to the team here or customers, high priority projects that we have going on. But taking that moonshot back then and really working it till today is, in 2017, we were the first to bring in AI and really make the ear the new wrist. That was the moonshot and taking a swing for the fences. And now, in this device that I wear and millions of others, connects to your phone, connects to TVs. We have health features, other things that can track your steps, balance, all sorts of stuff that is making hearing aids cool. Think of, where we are now and where we can be. We were making AI back in 2018, our first hearing aid with AI before anybody was talking really about AI.
Yep.
And so we're on our 7th generation, and I'm not done. And when I say it's really my thinking. It's hard to turn the head off or my mind off when you have so much opportunity. Where I'm a big, my son, when he was, little and all 22 Marvel movies, right? The first phase, think of this as Jarvis. That's what I want this to be. And, your real personal assistant. So, it's really what can be. And then I look at my job as helping others too in the company be successful. And so that's the meetings and other things that I'm working on. But, job descriptions go out the window usually on day one because you start doing so many different things.
100%. So what do you like to do for fun? What are some hobbies you have? Like, what do you like to do?
Well, right now, family when I can, because, it's slowing down, right? It's taking that time. We all talk about work-life balance and stuff. Like, how do you define it? I think it's different for everybody. I enjoy what I do here, but it's also recognizing, taking that family time. As you get older, you start understanding that more and more. My son races in NASCAR. He's in the Xfinity series. So yes, every Saturday watching him. He's 18 and up and coming, races for Joe Gibbs Racing. Spending time with my daughter, getting married this year. So I've got a lot of things going on personally. But the fun is really in watching and helping others in the family and doing some trips and stuff like that.
I know, I always like to say normal doesn't work and weird is normal, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's got like some crazy habits or weird tendencies or just I only hang around the best of the best. So I won't even associate with anyone who's not a top performer. Well, let me take that back. I do have some family like that, but I have to limit my time because I need to only be around good energy. But what are like some maybe weird habits or things you have that, I don't know, maybe you like to wear the same socks all the time, or whatever it is.
There's some of that, a little bit. There's some truth to that where, you start wearing a little bit of, not the same clothes, but same, black t-shirts are nice because it's one less decision you have to make. um, for me is my routine is pretty different because because of my schedule. But, for me, I guess what would be weird people, it's more of, probably just going home, watching some TV on the couch and eating a pizza. That's my, it's
Sounds
not
good.
healthy, but I'm telling you, I know it's not your corporate athlete, your model of fitness, but that's just for me is where my, whether you just kind of decompress and just chill.
No, listen, that's good. I think people have this conception that you need to like work like 20 hours a day
Mhm.
so hard, and people don't realize like this is like you have to work on a couple tasks that are going to move your business forward every day, and continue and just keep doing that week after week after week after week after week, and keep stacking bigger wins. Like, is there anything you do like in regards to just helping
Yeah.
within your company where like you step in and kind of give some guidance, mentorship, to other people, or like what does that look like on your end?
Yeah, I think, when I started, sorry, as I mentioned, I had the opportunities, but again, no way did I think I was going to be here. And I had to prove myself. I had to really work
Yep.
hard and be successful every step of the way. And
Yep.
that's who I am. I want to, I'm contributing. I want to be successful. I want to help. When I talk to people now, and it's really from my experience, is, you've got to put in the work. And it is really, I don't want to be cliche, but it's not working harder. It is working smarter.
Yep.
I fell in the trap too, right? Sending emails 2 in the morning, or, you're working. Um, I've got a switch now where my mind doesn't always go off because I'm always thinking of what could be. But when I'm, it's getting later in the evening and I'm forcing myself, or like, no, just stop. You develop that discipline. The one thing I tell employees, if I'm talking, never miss a kid's birthday. There's one thing, if, here with who we are, you can get caught up in a lot of work, a lot of travel, but family is a priority, but never miss your kid's birthday. That's one thing I always held true to myself then too.
Great. No, listen, I have that same rule here. I don't let anyone miss any important things, events, or if there's something going on at school, because it's like and this is something I can't stand. I see like and I know some CEOs personally that do this, but they will like they'll run out to go to their kid's school to see them, right? But
Right.
if a team member employee wants to go out, they'll say no, you can't. That's just I just think that's horrible. I think it's
No,
absolutely
I'm
horrible.
big. You have to have that connection because, I've, from experience, right? I mean, the best thing that I did now is, or one of the things I'm proud of, I think for 8 years I coached my son's little league. I coached him through baseball, and
Yep.
sure there was summers that, and I'm like, oh, I don't have time for this. I can't do this. I'm too bit. No, I did it, and I am so happy I did that because that was that time you can't get back. And then also, going to my daughter's horse shows and spending time with her. But there's always the, ones you wish you coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? But you can't
Yep.
regret that because also if I didn't, I knew, there's some things I wouldn't be here where I am today. And so, there's a lot of things that you look back, but you have to have and support in your company and business as a leader, the family, the values, and not missing those important moments and giving people some slack. I mean, there's policies and stuff, but you know what? You've got to use some common sense.
1,000,000% couldn't agree more. Like I tell everyone, if you don't have a good culture, I don't care how great your strategy is, you're going to get crushed and you will lose. 100%.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
And
All
Starkey
right.
is
So
very strong culture. Yes.
absolutely. So before we end the interview, Brandon, I like to always ask this one last question. If you were doing this interview, what question would have you asked?
Well, I always get the question, and I don't like it, but I'm going to ask you. Then you can ask me or ask me whatever you want. But what keeps you up at night?
Okay, perfect. So I can answer that for you after. What's your answer?
Myself, and meaning the team. I get asked, your competition. Who's your biggest competition? It's us. What keeps you up at night? Me, because I control what I can control. Can't control everything, but it's complacency. I am all about moving forward. Innovation never sleeps at Starkey, and status quo has no employee number. You have to, because if you're not growing, you're dying. You go 100%. Down the blockbuster list.
Yep. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
Right. That's right. How about you?
Honestly, nothing ever keeps me up. I can't answer that. I wouldn't answer. If you asked me that like 10, 15 years ago, I would say everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just very good when it comes to just mindset and just being able to shut things off and pretend like it's not there. And as you're aware that just crazy things happen in business all the time. Everyone's trying to take you down, sue you. There's an accident. This happens, whatever it may be. But I just I like to always just take a deep breath and I just say, just get through the day. And you need a good sleep, so get to sleep, and you'll deal with it tomorrow. And I've gotten very good at it. Back in the day, no, I was not very good at it, but today I am very good at it. So it's for me, honestly, what I like to do, I picked it up a couple of years ago, and it's also very beneficial. There's a place down the block from me. I go for a half hour, and I just get a foot massage, and it's the most relaxing thing to me. And I don't ever really relax, but it actually does relax me, and I feel like just recharged when I'm done. And, I don't drink alcohol. I've never been drunk, never taken a drug. So I just say, if I started drinking at the drinking age and, a normal person probably drinks a couple drinks in a weekend, if you add up the numbers, I'm still ahead of the game, right? Because I don't even spend that type of money on foot massages. But that's what I like to do.
Yeah. And, for me, it's really that motivation of that status quo, that competition. It drives me. I sleep well at night. I always follow that up where I don't have a problem sleeping. It's what's next. That's that. Out there that what can be. I stopped drinking. It'll be 10 years ago. Actually, tomorrow. I just noticed that.
That's great.
Because I wanted to be the best I could be. I just wanted to focus and not get in the habit of, because in our business, others, you just every day, night, week could be a cocktail party with customers. Others, have a reason to socialize, and it's just like, no, I want to be. I want to. For me, that was important.
I love it. Well, listen, Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for giving some great information and knowledge. Guys, I hope you're really enjoying this. Brandon, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and learn more about the company?
Starkey.com or BrandonSawalich.com. Either way.
Fantastic. Well, guys, you know what to do. Share the episode. Follow Brandon. Until next time, remember to fuel your drive. See ya. Legend. Do you know my name? My name is Legend.